Have you ever just looked at your pet and felt like there's something more there?
Like a deeper connection.
Yeah, like a real understanding in their eyes.
It makes you wonder, right?
It really does.
If there's a bigger purpose to that bond we have with them.
More than just,
More than just the cuddles and the walks.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, today, we're going to look at that.
We are.
We're taking a deep dive into the law of one and what it says about our pets.
We're asking the big question.
The big question.
Are our pets actually on a spiritual journey?
Could they be evolving?
And could they even be on a path to graduate into third density?
Which, as you know from the law of one,
If you've been following along,
if you're a listener of the show, you know that's the level of self-awareness
where we humans are hanging out.
right now.
Exactly.
So we're going to try to get to the bottom of this.
Break it down.
What does it mean?
What does it say about our pets?
What does it say about us?
And what does it say about this connection we feel so strongly?
So let's get right into it.
Let's jump in the deep end, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay, so first and foremost, do our pets actually evolve?
According to Rad.
That's the consciousness channeled through the law of one material.
Yes. According to Rad, the answer is yes.
So my dog buddy,
Your dog, buddy.
he could
He
be
could be evolving,
moving on up.
moving on up to third density.
That's incredible.
It is, and they actually say that.
What's really interesting is they say that
They highlight pets.
as a really common way.
The most common way, almost.
The second density beings
Which is what our pets are.
right now
Graduate during a third density cycle.
during our cycle.
Which is pretty fascinating.
And this is because of us,
because of the bond.
the bond that we have with our pets.
That's right.
So it's not just like a random thing that's happening.
It's because of our interaction with them.
Because we love them and we care for them.
And that love is so powerful
It really is.
that it actually helps them
To grow spiritually.
to evolve to that next level.
So when we're talking about graduation,
Yeah.
what does that actually look like for a pet?
I mean, are they going to start?
Are they going to be asking to go to college?
They're going to want to get a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
What does that actually look like?
So what Ra says is that when a pet who has formed that strong bond with a human
Right.
dies,
Right.
their mind-body complex,
Which you can think of as like their consciousness.
their energy system,
Yeah, their energy system.
it doesn't just disappear.
It doesn't just go back to the void.
Right.
It actually retains its individuality.
So like Buddy is still Buddy,
Buddy is still Buddy.
even after he passes on.
Exactly.
Or-
And that means that they might even reincarnate
Oh, wow.
in a third density form.
So Buddy could come back
Buddy could come back as a human
in another life,
in another life,
possibly even on this planet.
possibly even on this planet.
That is so wild.
I know, right?
So every time I'm playing fetch with Buddy,
Every treat you give him,
yeah, all that love and attention.
every belly rub
Yeah.
is helping him move towards that
Yeah.
third density graduation.
That's really amazing.
It is.
It makes you think about that connection in a whole new way.
Absolutely.
So does this mean...
What do you think?
Well, I'm wondering if this means that we have a soul contract with our pets.
Right.
Is there a reason why Buddy came into my life specifically?
It's a great question.
I mean, it doesn't use that exact term,
They don't say soul contract.
but the idea is there.
Very much so.
They talk about how third density beings like us,
Us humans,
we invest,
would test
or
right from
clothe
the best.
second density beings
Or pets
with self-awareness.
with self-awareness
And this happens through the opportunity of pets.
through that relationship.
So we're giving them something.
We are
It's not just a one-way street.
not at all.
It's not just us taking care of them.
It's a mutual exchange.
We're helping them to develop their individuality
Their own unique spark.
through our bond.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It really is.
It's like we're helping them put on a garment of
Wow.
self-awareness.
That's such a powerful image.
It is
So it's not random.
that we have these pets in our lives.
There's a deeper meaning there.
There's a purpose.
I love that.
And it makes you appreciate them even more,
It really does.
doesn't it?
Now, what about those pets?
Like what kind?
You know the ones that are just so intuitive?
Oh, yeah.
They know when you're feeling down.
They come and cuddle you.
They know when you need them.
They just seem to know.
They just get you.
Right.
Could those be like wanderers in training?
Oh, that's interesting.
Are they more evolved souls?
Like from a higher density?
Yeah. That are here for a specific purpose.
You know, that's a really insightful question.
And it makes you wonder.
It does.
Because Ra talks about how,
they talk about wanderers.
but they don't specifically say,
We are not second density beings.
can be wanderers.
Yeah.
But they do talk about how some second-density entities,
They receive what Ra calls vibratory aid
vibratory aid,
from higher beings.
to help them transition to third density,
It's like a boost.
like a spiritual boost,
Yeah, a cosmic helping
to
hand.
help them along.
Exactly.
So while some of them might get there on their own,
Through their own experiences.
others might need a little extra help
Or a little nudge.
from those higher realms
And they actually compare it to the support
that the Confederation of Planets gives to us.
to humanity.
So maybe those super intuitive pets,
The ones that are just wise beyond their years.
they're getting a little extra help
Maybe they're getting that vibratory aid.
from somewhere out there.
It's a possibility.
Okay, so we've been talking about this idea of graduation,
Yeah.
but what is the actual path
A pathway.
from second density to third density?
How do they get there?
How do they make that leap?
It's not like they just wake up one morning in their third density.
Right.
It's a process.
Ron says that eventually every being will experience each density,
That's the goal.
but some will move faster than others,
Depending on their experiences
and their choices.
and their choices
So even that goldfish,
that you had when you were a kid
yeah,
is on this journey.
wow.
Isn't that amazing?
So we're all in this together.
We're all connected.
And Ray specifically talks about 3 types of second density beings,
That can become inspirited.
which means they develop self-awareness.
Right.
And of course there are the
Yeah.
animals,
Pet.
but then there are also plants,
Especially trees.
trees,
They're very wise.
and even minerals.
even rocks.
So everything is evolving.
Everything is on a journey.
I love that.
It's beautiful.
And it sounds like love plays a big part in this,
Love is essential.
especially the love between
Second and third density beings.
us and our pets.
That's right.
So it's not just about giving them food and shelter,
It's about that connection,
the
a
affection,
bond.
because that love helps them to wake up to their own self-awareness,
It's like a catalyst.
like a spark.
It ignites something within them.
And Ra says that this awareness is already there.
It's inherent.
It's just waiting to be activated.
And love is the key.
So when that happens,
When they wake up,
what happens next?
what does that transition look like?
Ra says that when a second density being becomes self-aware,
And graduates to third density,
they take on a human form.
they become like us.
Wow.
So your goldfish
Could be a human now.
could be walking around.
That's incredible.
And they even suggest that some of the first humans on Earth
May have evolved this way.
from second density beings.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
It really is.
So we're all part of this grand cycle of evolution,
We are,
and we're helping our pets along the way,
through our love and our care.
just by being good companions,
We're supporting their spiritual growth.
and potentially even helping them to become human one day.
It's a beautiful thought.
It is.
Now, earlier we touched on the idea of higher density beings maybe incarnating as pets.
Right?
Could some of our pets actually be,
Like fifth or sixth density beings
that have chosen to come here
in animal form.
for a specific purpose?
You know, Ra doesn't specifically confirm that.
But they do talk about how wanderers
From higher densities
can choose to incarnate
into lower densities.
for service,
And they say that those wanderers have the potential to accelerate their own evolution.
even while they're in that lower density.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
That some pets
Could be higher density beings
that have chosen to come here
to help us
to serve us.
in a unique way.
It's a really interesting thought.
It is.
And it makes you wonder,
About those pets that have that special something
that extra spark.
that you can't quite explain.
It makes you think.
It does.
And Ra talks about how fourth density wanderers are drawn to
Beings that are full of love.
or in need of love.
And that sounds a lot like our pets.
They're always there for us,
Unconditional love.
no matter what.
So maybe they're here to teach us about love
And to help us heal.
and to help us evolve.
There's a beautiful possibility. It really is.
And it makes that bond even more special.
Absolutely.
So we've been talking about pets as spiritual beings, but they're also known for being healers.
Natural healers
Right. It's like just being around them,
can make you feel better,
calmer.
feel relaxed.
Ra doesn't specifically call them healers,
But they do talk about how all healing is ultimately self-healing
and how the healer acts as a conduit.
for intelligent energy,
So maybe our pets are helping us to access that energy.
to heal ourselves
And they do it through their unconditional love,
through their presence.
their energy.
It's a powerful thing.
It really is.
And there's even scientific evidence to support this.
Oh, wow.
Studies have shown that interacting with pets can lower blood pressure.
And reduce stress hormones.
So there's something to it.
There really is.
It's not just a feeling.
It's real.
It's backed up by science.
Now, what happens to our pets when they die?
When they transition.
We've talked about the possibility of them graduating to third density.
But what about the ones that haven't quite reached that point?
What happens to them?
Do they just disappear?
Well, Ra says that when a second density being dies,
If they have formed a strong sense of self-awareness,
through their interaction with humans,
they've retained their individuality,
they don't just dissolve back into the collective.
so they're still them,
They're still unique,
even after they're gone,
and they continue to evolve.
towards that third density.
Yeah, actually.
So death is not the end
It's just a transition.
to another state of being.
Another chapter in their journey.
Now, what about reincarnation?
Yeah.
Do pets reincarnate?
Ra confirms that reincarnation is a universal process
For all beings.
across all densities.
So it applies to our pets too,
They come back
in new forms,
to continue their evolution.
and maybe even to reconnect with us.
It's a possibility.
Ra doesn't say for sure.
But it's a beautiful thought.
It is
It gives us hope
that we might see our beloved pets again.
in another life.
Now, we've been talking about individual pets. Yeah. But what about the bigger picture?
The planetary picture,
Ra talks a lot about Earth's transition to fourth density.
the density of love and understanding.
How might our pets be playing a role in that?
That's a great question.
Could they be helping us
To make that transition,
to raise our vibration?
to become more loving and understanding.
It's possible.
It is
Because they're already embodying those qualities.
unconditional love.
Passion.
They're like little beacons of light.
Shining the way.
And Ra mentions that fourth density beings can incarnate into lower densities
To help with the transition.
to be of service.
So maybe some of our pets are doing that too.
It's a possibility
On a personal level.
in our own lives
Helping us to open our
and
heart.
connect to that higher love.
That's amazing.
It is.
It all comes back to consciousness, doesn't it?
Consciousness is key.
The development of self-awareness.
That's what allows us to move between densities.
And Ra says that love is the catalyst,
For that awakening,
especially the love we share with our pets,
it helps them to become individualized
to recognize their own unique spark.
and to move towards that third density graduation
So we're all part of this incredibly cosmic dance.
of evolution
And our pets are right there with us.
every step of the way.
And once they do graduate to third density,
What do you think they learn?
what are the big lessons for a former pet in human form?
Well, they're learning about self-awareness.
On a deeper level.
They're learning about free will.
And they're learning about polarity.
The choice between service to others and service to self.
It's a lot to take in,
It is.
but it's all part of the journey
the creator's journey
to experience itself.
in all its infinite forms.
And our pets are part of that.
They're part of the creator, too.
So as you look at your pet tonight,
Take a moment to appreciate them.
for the amazing beings they
And
are,
for the role they're playing
your life,
and in the evolution of consciousness.
because they might just be more than you ever imagined.
They might be your teachers.
Your healers
Your guides.
on this incredible journey,
So rejoice in their companionship.
and cherish every moment.
And until next time,
Keep exploring
keep learning.
and keep loving.